Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to learn a very funny and meaningful extract from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid, The Ugly Truth by Jeffrey Patrick Kenny. This part of the story shows us how Greg, a middle school boy, struggles to take care of an egg for a school project about parenting. While the story is humorous, it also teaches us an important lesson about responsibility. Let's begin. First paragraph. Greg wakes up and his headgear is missing. The story begins when Greg wakes up in the morning and can't find his orthodontic headgear. He looks everywhere, but it's missing. He goes to school without it, but this already shows how his day is starting badly. Second paragraph. Parenting project begins. In health class, Nurse Powell introduces a new lesson, parenting. She explains that being a parent is a huge responsibility. To teach this, she gives every student a raw egg. Each student must take it home safely and bring it back the next day without any cracks. Third paragraph. Boys break eggs immediately. The assignment counts for 25% of their grade. So Greg gets nervous, but the other boys treat it like a joke. As soon as class ends, they start playing with the eggs in the hallway. Many eggs break, and the janitor has to clean the mess. Fourth paragraph. Greg protects his egg with toilet paper. Rolly keeps his egg safely in his shirt pocket. Greg doesn't have a pocket, so he goes to the bathroom and stuffs his backpack with toilet paper to make a cushion. He removes his book so they won't crush the egg. Fifth paragraph. Greg remembers the deviled egg incident. Greg then remembers a funny but embarrassing incident from the previous year. At a party, he took 10 deviled eggs thinking they would taste like his grandmother's. But they tasted horrible and he could not eat them. Sixth paragraph. Greg hides eggs in a plastic plant. Because he didn't want to offend the host, Greg secretly dumped all the deviled eggs into a plastic plant. No one noticed, but later the Snellas complained that their house smelled terrible for weeks. Greg felt guilty when they moved out, taking the plant with them. Seventh paragraph. Many always ruins Greg things. Now, Greg wants to hide his egg so his younger brother, Manny, doesn't break it. Manny always finds Greg things even on the top shelf. Greg realizes that the harder he hides something, the faster Manny finds it. Eighth paragraph. Greg hides the egg in the fridge. So the Greg decides to hide the egg in a very obvious place, the refrigerator. He thinks Manny will never look there, but the next morning the egg is gone. Ninth paragraph. Mom cooks the egg. Greg panics and asks his mom if Manny took it, but she casually tells him that she took the egg and cooked it for breakfast. Greg realizes that he could not even protect an egg for one day. Parenting is clearly not easy for him. 10th paragraph. Girls bring decorated eggs. At school, Greg sees the girls carrying beautifully decorated eggs. They have made pouches, added glitter, and treated the egg like a baby. Greg feels they are missing the point. The task is supposed to show difficulty, not decoration. 11th paragraph. Greg can't copy Rolly. Greg thinks of using Rolly's egg, but Rolly has drawn all over his egg with crayons, so Greg cannot pretend it's his egg. 12th paragraph. Greg brings scrambled egg. When Nurse Powell collects the eggs, Greg shows her a plastic bag with scrambled egg. She is not impressed. Greg knows he is going to fail the assignment. 13th paragraph. All eggs are thrown away. Nurse Powell congratulates few students who kept their eggs safe. Then she throws all the eggs into the trash. Rolly and the girls burst into tears. Greg finds it dramatic. 14th paragraph. Greg worries about future parents. Finally, Greg says he's worried about the future generation of parents. If kids can't even handle an egg, he wonders how they will handle real babies. Students, now let's see what is the conclusion. Students, this extract uses humor to show us that parenting is not as simple as it looks. Greg learns that responsibility requires attention, care, and patience. Even though the story is funny, it gives us a realistic message. Students, now let's see what is the moral of this lesson. The moral is very simple. Responsibility looks small from the outside, but it takes real effort and care. Thank you, students. I hope you enjoyed the story and understood the meaning behind the humor. If you like the explanation, keep learning, keep reading, and stay responsible. Like, share, subscribe. See you in the next class. Until then, bye.